A very good morning. We are back on YouTube and a very happy new year to you. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down, just like last year, euro dollar, pound dollar, Kiwi dollar, gold, and even Aussie dollar. So with that said, let's dive in full of energy into 2024 because the markets are looking great once again. So starting off with euro dollar, the weekly has tapped in towards this extreme area of supply, rejected pretty much that 786 fib. So for now, we are obviously looking to see that downside continuation after seeing a pullback in swing structure back up in towards the overall extreme area of supply. So now moving on and lower in towards the daily time frame. Obviously the daily is also still bearish, as we can clearly see all the way from this swing high in towards this swing low. However, the internal structure, guys, that is the one that remains bullish for now after breaking this high over here. So after breaking that high, we became bullish in the internal structure. And the internal structure, guys, that is simply the structure that facilitates, let's say the trend to create that pullback in towards the upside before then seeing downside continuation once again, of course, in a bearish swing trend. So now what we're looking for is a break of this low over here, because then the swing structure, which is bearish, will then align with the overall internal structure, and then you will get the highest probability sells, which should occur over there. And then you can trade the overall swing structure further in towards the downside. So for now, what we're looking at over here on the daily is price stalling inside this wick over here. Of course, obviously, we've also tapped in towards weekly supply, so we're looking for that further downside on euro dollar from a daily perspective. For the rest, what do we have? Well, we have this daily area of demand positioned over here where I would like to see price move towards. Then from that daily area of demand, let's see, are we going to move in towards this extreme area of supply and then see that bearish momentum come in towards the market, kind of form this, let's say, ascending channel / ascending wedge, which is a high probability pattern for potential correction or further downside continuation on the daily? Or are we going to, let's say, disrespect this area of demand and from here just continue in towards the downside, in towards this zone? Then again, just a simple reaction and potentially break this internal structure and then get those high probability sells for that further downside swing continuation. That is now what we're waiting for. But for now, on the short term, it does look like your dollar wants to move slightly down lower in towards this fresh area of demand, from where we will then see, okay, are we going to be continuously looking for those shorts, or can we look for those short-term longs? Now moving back in towards the 4 hour. The 4 hour is swing bullish, and obviously this low over here is that daily internal low as well. So this is really the most important low to break in the upcoming weeks if we want to see that further downside on your dollar. Now focusing simply on the daily, on the 4 hour, excuse me, the 4 hour overall still has some room to move in towards the downside, because what we're looking at over here from a 4 hour perspective, obviously we had that 4 hour BOS. What do we expect after BOS? We expect a pullback. When does a pullback come? A pullback comes when we see a change in the overall fractal structure, which we had over here at the top. So if we just simply zoom in, what you'll see on the 28th of December is that we broke this fractal low. After that fractal low break, a massive bearish impulse in towards the downside. That is then the moment that this buy before the sell becomes your supply zone. Simply set your order on the supply zone, stop loss above the highs, and target a 1 to 3. So this position would still be running. Obviously, I didn't take it due to the timing, 28th of December, but it would still be running, and we are still looking to see that further downside momentum. So at the moment, this is your buy before the sell. So overall order flow is bearish in towards the downside. We have liquidity lying underneath this trend line, very obvious. So very choppy price action over here, resulting in choppy price action over there. And what I'm now looking for is a further push in towards the downside, continuation of the trend in towards that daily area of demand, which we just pointed out. And of course, this 4 hour refined area of demand, from where I want to see, okay, is the market going to move up? Is it going to move down? So for now, I'm just continuously looking for those short positions until we reach kind of this area of daily / 4 hour demand and take out the liquidity below this trend line. So that is what I'm now waiting for on euro dollar. Then if we, let's say, break this zone and we don't see any bullish momentum come in towards the market, then I do think we will see this refined area of demand over here at around 108 very, very soon. So that is it on euro dollar. Quickly just showing what the 15 is doing. The 15 is currently showing us a bearish price action. Overall 50-minute swing structure is bearish in towards the downside, so just simply follow the overall order flow. At the moment we're stalling over here in this buy before the sell, which is acting as your area of supply, but again very messy price action still here at the beginning of the year, so I'll be focusing mainly on the 4-hour for the upcoming week still. Same for the other pairs. So let's see if that can play out, and then overall let's see if the dollar is, or euro dollar is ready to move back in towards parity, in towards 1.0 during this year. A lot will be coming clear in the coming weeks. Now moving on in towards the dollar index. So the dollar index, what can we see over here? Overall reacting to this area of daily demand, pushing back in towards the highs now. Now going in towards the 4-hour, what can we see? Oh, price is currently stalling inside the supply zone. Again, liquidity lying above this trend line, looking to target and see the dollar index move up higher. For now, we need this area of consolidation to hold if we want to see the dollar move up higher. If this consolidation area breaks, it's likely we're going to see further downside. So that's what I'm waiting for. Let's see if that can be used as a confluence for now on these dollar pairs. Moving on in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, what have we been seeing? Well, we've been seeing some corrective bearish momentum coming in. Overall here on the daily, reacting to this old area of supply. Keep in mind from a daily perspective, we still have liquidity above the highs, which we could still grab. So keep that in mind. Preferably, I would grab the liquidity and then sell off. That would be a higher probability. Overall, daily is still bearish from this high in towards this low. But because the structure is so complicated, I'm just focusing on the internal structure, and the internal structure is currently bullish. Now, looking at the current daily structure, there is still some room for us to move up, but there's also still some room to move down. Overall, your fractal low here on the daily is this low over here, and that would be the low you need to break for kind of like the confirmed correction after that daily BOS. So preferably what I would like to see is one more push in towards the highs, grabbing liquidity, taking out this high, then this becomes your fractal low, and then we go short in towards the downside, in towards this fresh area of demand. So that's what I'm looking for from Aussie dollar. Now moving in towards the 4-hour. The 4-hour, however, is already starting to correct slightly. Overall here on the 4-hour, we have kind of like that corrective ascending price action, kind of like that trend line in towards the highs, which is now broken. So a lot of people are looking for those short positions. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more impulse up. That would be high probability, but you guys know we trade structure, not trend lines. So focusing on structure at the moment. This is my fractal high. As long as that fractal high is respected, I expect for the downside. If we break that fractal high, I am convinced that we will see kind of like that liquidity on the daily gets taken out. So yeah, I mean, as we can see, break the fractal low, pull back in towards this buy for the sell, and then again a dump in towards the downside. Simply following fractal structure, guys. Again, buy before the sell, move in, move out. So now what we're looking at is the 15-minute for kind of confirmation for any trades that we have. Now 15-minute is also swing bearish, so you could look for those shorts. Keep an eye out. What I preferably would want to see is one more push up in towards this extreme 15-minute zone, and then wait for that change of character, and then look for those shorts in towards the downside. That is what I would be looking for over here on Aussie dollar 15 minutes. Just going back in towards the 4-hour. The 4-hour obviously can correct, guys. We've seen a 4-hour BOS overextend move in towards the upside. Very corrective price action. So it wouldn't be strange for Aussie dollar to start dropping hard. But I would just need to see, and preferably would like to see that liquidity get taken out on the daily. But therefore, for the reasons I just explained, I am already happy to look on the 15 for a potential short due to the nature of price and due to the location where we are currently at. So that's Aussie dollar. Moving in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar, pound dollar had a very nice setup over here on the 21st of December. So overall 4-hour swing structure, obviously bullish in towards the highs, pulls back in towards the EQ, in towards demand over here. Then we get that entry model, and then price just continues in towards the highs very beautifully, hitting TP over here. Now, what I'm looking for, or what I'm looking at, is a new swing structure. So this is now your swing low, this is now your swing high. Price is now pulled back in towards the 50% mark. Again, what does price do when it gets in towards that 50% mark? It enters in towards a fresh area of demand. So because there's no liquidation in that move up, what happens? The early buyers who start longing on these two bullish candles, they get tapped out, and then the market starts moving bullish. So what I'm now looking at, or we're looking for, is to see, okay, can we take out this high? Because this is now your fractal high. This is your fractal low, meaning we are still bearish on fractal structure. So what I'm now waiting for is a break for that high, then a push down, and then let's say that further long in towards the upside from a 4 hour. So that's the 4 hour trade I'm looking for. For the rest, not really looking at shorts until we break this low over here. And why becomes also very clear on the daily, because from a daily perspective, overall, that is the internal low. So let me explain what the internal low is, or what that means. So by just deleting these lines, what you can see, okay, we've got this corrective price action in towards the highs, kind of like this ascending wedge. Overall, very similar structure to euro dollar, bearish from that high, bearish in towards this low. So we've been seeing this internal trend in towards the highs every single time. So a new higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. So this is pretty much what's happening. So the internal trend is just facilitating pound dollar to move in towards higher time frame areas of supply. And now what I'm waiting for is for this low to go, which is that 4 hour swing low. If that low then goes, internal structure on the daily changes, and then there will be far more high probability to start selling in towards the downside. For the rest, if we just focus on the overall order flow of that internal structure, and that is just simply looking at the sell before the buy, you can see every single time pound dollar moves just simply back in towards the sell for the buy. Every single time. So now what I want to do is I want to see, okay, when can we break that overall, let's say, order flow, right? So the overall order flow at the moment, again, it's just this sell before the buy. So what I'm now looking for is, again, just simply for us to break this low. If that low breaks, order flow changes, this becomes your buy before the sell, and that is then the supply zone from where I want to sell off in towards the downside. So now looking where price is reacting to, it's reacting to this imbalance candle with this liquidity high over here. So that could be the catalyst together with the overall price pattern over here. But before we do see that for the downside, we need to see the confirmation because this is the high probability zone, this buy before the sell. So let's see. I mean, you can still long on the 4 hour because mainly these trades are just taken on the 4 hour time frame. So yeah, just view what I just viewed, or just view what I just explained with that 4 hour internal high, that fractal high, excuse me. If that high can get broken, then we can look for those longs. But the highest probability trades will come with a daily trend. And for that, we need to break this low over here. So yeah, longs until we break this low. So that's pound dollar. Last of all, Kiwi dollar and gold. So Kiwi dollar, guys, are not a very interesting pair at the moment. Very choppy. But yeah, looking for that pullback in towards the downside after the daily BOS. Now looking at the 4 hour, our main time frame, we can now see that we're kind of like fighting very corrective price action. But then after the change of characters, buy before the sell, respected. Again, change of character, buy before the sell, respected. Now another buy before the sell, but now it's a little bit different because we've entered in towards fresh demand. Furthermore, we've entered the 50% mark, which is now your area of support. So not really interested in Kiwi dollar at all at the moment. Moving on in towards gold. So gold, of course, very interesting for a lot of people. At the moment, we are bullish. So overall, we can see, boom, up, down, up, down, up, and now down. Now looking for that next up move, especially after breaking fractal structure. So fractal structure is just aggressive structure, guys. Low break over here, and then again, another low break over here, then again, another low break over here. So we could clearly see we were making lower lows. But then what happened last night? We broke this high, meaning fractal structure is now also bullish. 4 hour zone, sell before the buy. So now what I'm looking for is a potential pullback and then further upside long in towards the highs from this zone at around, what is it, 2067. So that's gold, guys. Looking for longs upon a pullback. Obviously, we need some confirmation on the 15 once we enter that zone. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and see you inside Discord. Link in the description down below. Thanks, guys.